First, I'll use Epoxy Putty to fill all the gaps and panel lines in this kit. The putty comes in two colors. Cut out each piece and mix them together. Wet your hands so the putty will not stick. Start filling in the gaps and panel lines. Try to use as little putty as possible to save time on sanding. I also use a stirrer to remove the excess putty. Leave for a day to harden. Once hardened, sand everything down to get a nice finish. Next, I saw off the feet leaving the connector joint to the leg. I will use this to build new feet. I cut out plastic strips. Using the chopper, I cut out the basic shape of the feet. With a hobby knife, I cut out the parts which cannot be cut with the chopper. Next, I cut the plastic to fit the connector joint. Using a scriber from Waves, I mark out holes in the feet and drill them out to make some details. Next, I glue everything together. I glue more pieces of plastic together and file it to shape. Then I glue the piece to the front of the feet. I cut and glue on rectangular details to the side. Then I add circular option parts on the sides, and the feet are done. Next, I bend wires to form handles for the chest piece. Mark out the holes for the wires and drill them out. Put the wires into the holes and cut out the excess wires. Use super glue to glue the handles to the chest. For the backpack, I wanted to make an antenna. I drill out the top of the side tank to fit the antenna. Next, I drill out holes in the different diameter pipes for the antenna holder. Finally, I fixed everything together and this is the completed antenna. Next, I'll add armor to the shoulders from some spare plastic parts. To attach the plastic part, I'll cut out grooves in the shoulder to slide the armor in. First, I mark out the groove and start scribing. To speed up the process, I use a hobby knife to cut the plastic. I test the fit of the armor. Thankfully, everything fits nicely. Next, I'll make a panel using a wire mesh on the body. First, I glue plastic strips into a rectangle for the frame of the panel. Then I drill out and cut out a hole on the body where I want the panel. Next, I glue the frame over the hole. Lastly, using super glue, I glue the wire mesh on the back of the panel. To make an armor piece for the tie, I bend a plastic strip using pen and a drill. Next, I mark out circles for detail using a template. Then I drill out the holes. I glue on plastic rod which I cut into small lengths as rivets. Then I glue on plastic strips as a frame on the armor. I glue on plastic rod and drill a hole in the middle. A smaller plastic rod is glued into the hole for it to slot into the tie. A hole is drilled into the tie piece for inserting the armor. I bought these circular metal details from Taobao. They come in different sizes and design. Just peel off the piece and glue onto holes in the kit to add details. I also use plastic parts to glue into the holes to add more details. Using this drill bit from God Hand, it allows me to create flat holes. This allows me to paste the metal details easily on the legs. I add this metal detail on all the round holes on the kit. Next, I glue triangular pla plate together and drill a hole in the center. I also rounded the edge. Then, I cut and glue on short plastic rods to act as rivets. This will be used as the frame for a tow bar. I glue a piece of wire into the frame. Then I drill out holes where I want the frame and attach the frame to the body. I glue on plastic details to the frame. Next, I insert a plastic rod into the frame and glue them in place. And the tow bar is done. I decided to scribe another panel detail on the body. Using a template, I scribe out the frame of the panel. I use a needle scriber first as it is easier to go around the corners. Then I use a normal scriber to continue scribing the panel. Next, I drill a hole, careful not to drill all the way through the body. Then I use the God Hand drill bit and make the hole flat. Next, I glue in a plastic detail into the hole. And the panel detail is done. Next, I scribe a panel line down the middle of a plastic strip. Then using the chopper to cut the plastic strips into smaller strips. Glue them together. And I cut out smaller plastic strips and glue them on as details. Next, I glue the plates on the kit. These will be the reactive armor plates for the kit. Lastly, for the fuel tanks, I glue a plastic rod on the end to extend the length. The ends are covered with a plastic strip and sanded to shape. Then I scribe panel lines to the bottom. And the fuel tanks are done. That is all for the modifications. If you like what you see, consider subscribing and hit the like button. See you in the next video.